Alice of KHR Arts and Cloud Orchid Publishing, and today I am going to talk about a topic that might be hard to hear for some people, and that is that most authors do not make a living at writing. So, what exactly does that mean? It means that writing is an industry that it's really difficult to fully make a living only doing writing. So what that means is that it's the idea of you can just write books and articles and just writing sort of stuff, blogs, whatever. And that is 100% of your income. That you don't have a day job, that you don't have a side hustle, that it's you just do writing all the time and that pays all your bills. Achieving that is really hard. And just for the simplicity of this video, we're going to specifically talk about working as a published author, because working as a professional blogger, working as a person who writes professional articles and stuff like that, those are all different industries from book writing. So that's what we're going to talk about for the simplicity of this video. But most people do a combination of those things, just as an FYI. And even people who do a combination of those things still can't make a living doing just that. And I know this from experience because I myself tried doing it and I was unable to make a reasonable living doing that. My partner, Neil, he is the closest person I know to being able to do that on a personal level. And it's so hard for him, and it's getting harder and harder every year to get those bills paid just doing writing. And he does a lot of other side hustle stuff on top of it just to get bills paid. So again, not ideal. Most writers have a day job and do writing on the side. Does it make you some nice extra money? Sure. But is it going to pay 100% of your bills? Probably not. And the reason for this, I've talked about this in some of my other videos, is that there is so much competition in the market, as well as the writing industry is rapidly changing due to just our world, specifically technology, is rapidly changing. So the key factors that are going into changing things is TikTok, AI, and then just everyone having far more access than ever before. All of these things mean that there is just far more competition than there ever has in the history of ever by exponential numbers. There's just millions upon millions upon millions of books on the market right now, and more are being written and published every year, which hooray for books, yay, but that also means that it's that many more voices that you have to jump up and down and try to be heard through, and it keeps getting harder. Trends are getting harder and harder to follow and be a part of because of TikTok. TikTok is the advent of micro trends. Trends that only last a month, a week, a day, an hour. Trying to keep up with something like that in an industry that is famously known for being slow, the writing industry is one of the slowest industries out there, is at odds with the just rapid pace of trend. And while it's usually not a good idea to set your books against trends because they come and go, but still being able to just keep up and be relevant, and then on top of it trying to make your marketing and advertising relevant in this ever-changing world is so hard. And that's the biggest point for why it is so hard to make a living as a writer, is it's not for lack of trying. Because Lord knows, I have so much content on the market, it's mind-blowing. Neil has so much stuff on the market, it's crazy. I know so many other writers who have so much content, just so much. And, it's like, how much money did you make this month? I don't know, $5? Yay. And I'm not even exaggerating on that. And the problem is that it comes down to competition and marketing. Those are the two biggest reasons why it's so hard to make a living, is that you have more than ever all these people you have to compete with. Readers have more choice than ever before. There are hundreds of books for every genre, for every subgenre, for every micro genre. Just there is so much content for every type of person. Like if you want to get real specific and real ridiculous, there is a book out there for that. That's never been a thing before. You've never been able to get so completely just micro topic into books than in the past 5 years. The fact that you can be like, hey, I want a book that's specifically about a 14-year-old girl coming of age in, I don't know, the Muslim community in the Middle East in the 1400s. I'm sure there's a book for that somewhere. I'm sure there is. And knowing that means that the whole idea of having an original idea is dead. All stories are some version of something. And what makes you set your book apart now is your unique perspective that you bring to the table. How do you, the author, tell this story? What about it have you made different and interesting that brings somebody in to want to read it? For instance, my book, Love of the Sea, takes a very classic, very so many books out there type of tale of mermaid falls in love with human. This is not an earth-shattering concept, y'all. However, I made it be the opposite, where she's like, I'm going to make him come and live underwater with me. I'm going to make him abandon everybody that he knows and loves. And I'm going to make him come be my prince in my underwater kingdom. That is an idea that really hasn't been explored on the market. And then you get even more micro-focused into that story. And there's also pagan overtones in how exactly the magic in the story works. And then also the style of magic, that it's very much high fantasy, traditional magic, that it's not necessarily like magic wand magic, or it's not some sort of scientific magic, or any of the other types of magic in fantasy writing that are on the market right now. And it's this combination of these different micro topics all in this book. That's what makes it special. It's you're taking a little sprinkle of this and a little sprinkle of that and a dash of this. That's what's making books special now, is how do you bring all these different things together? There is no just, I wrote a Western. Okay, honey, so did millions of other people. Oh, I wrote a romance novel. You and everybody's sister did. You have to be more specific now. And so, again, that gives readers so many choices, and people vote with their wallets. So you have to somehow jump up and down the highest, and you have to shout the loudest, and you have to have the most unique book in order to get readers to notice you, and then on top of it, convince them to buy your book. All of that is so hard to do. Then the marketing of it. Oh boy, does that suck. That is the part that every writer and author will tell you that they hate the most. It sucks. It's awful. Nobody likes doing it. Many people, if they have the money to, they will have other people do it for them. That's one of the big reasons why people go into traditional publishing, is that they want the publisher to do it for them. However, as I talked about in my last video, unfortunately, that's not really an option anymore, because more and more traditional publishers are saying, you do it. So here we are, no matter what level you're on or which path you took, you have to do your own marketing, and it sucks. Welcome to Suckville. And what avenues do we have available to us to do this marketing and advertising? And the ones that don't cost any money, because most writers don't make a lot of money, even if they do have a day job or whatever. A lot of us aren't making a ton of money. You have to do the free options. Social media, for the longest time, was the free option. Unfortunately, it's kind of not anymore. And there really aren't any other free options left as of today. People keep talking about that they hope that new social media platforms open up that give us those free options back. People are talking about, maybe there'll be another thing beyond social media that'll become our new free thing. But those are future things. We don't know what the future holds. The right now thing is that more and more social media platforms are pushing us into this pay-to-play space where, sure, you can make all of the free posts that you want on their platform, but nobody's going to see them. And they just push paid advertising, paid subscriptions, just all of this pay nonsense. And it gets so expensive. And there are certain thresholds where it's like, if you can't spend X amount of dollars, don't even bother. Because again, no one will see it. Back in the day, and back in the day, I mean like 2016, the amount of reach that I could get with a $10 advertisement for something. Amazing. It was absolutely amazing what I could do with $10. That I could just set the settings to be like, hey, I want to reach this kind of audience. I want to reach this age group. I want to reach the people in these areas. I want to reach people with these demographic specifications. And my reach was amazing for that $10 because I got so specific. I knew exactly what I wanted. And back then, the social media platforms would reward you for that, where they're like, wow, you know exactly what your audience is. Excellent. We're going to give you all the brownie points for that. Now they're like, oh, you're not willing to spend at least $1,000 on an ad? We can't help you. Maybe we'll have you reach like, I don't know, 300 people. Yay. And even so, reach doesn't even matter anymore. Okay, so your ad reached, I don't know, let's just pretend 100 people. Okay, cool. Not terrible. Not great, but not terrible. How many people liked or interacted with this advertisement? I don't know, 5. How many people clicked on the link? 1. How many people bought a book? Nobody. And that's kind of where we're at, where even if you throw money at it, it's not enough. Unless you are a bigger corporation that can throw $1,000 per ad. You ain't getting anything. You're not getting link clicks. You're not getting books sold. And it sucks. And what a lot of people will tell you that I've seen across the board is they'll say, oh, you need to build up your mailing list. Oh, you're just not reaching your audience properly. Oh, this and oh, that and blah, blah, blah. Here is the secret behind how they're having success doing that and you're not. They started 5 to 10 years ago. So they already have that audience built in. They already have that reach and that engagement built in. And that's also part of what sucks about the algorithm right now, is that if you didn't already build up your audience 5 to 10 years ago, good luck building it now. Because I was able to build up, just to give y'all an example, my Instagram. I, over the pandemic, was like, you know what? I really, really need to build up my social media. I need more reach. And by more reach, I meant outside of my local community. Because before, I just had like friends and people that I thought were cool and stuff like that on my Instagram. And I didn't have a very big following. I think I had something like 700 followers, okay? And that was nice and that was fine. And people interacted with my posts and it was great and lovely and whatever. But I was like, in order to better reach my reading audience, to be able to reach people that aren't necessarily going to be at the conventions that I go to and sell my books at, that I'm not going to be able to reach face to face, I need to figure out a way to reach those people in order to get them to buy my books. And that's building up your social media followings. And so I did. And I got up to 10,000 followers on Instagram. And I was just chugging along, having a merry old time, chugging along, building that up. And I built that up over the course of only about 2.5 years. And then all of the crap with social media started happening, where then they started throttling the algorithm. Then they started punishing you for putting links on your posts. And now they're, oh, you're not paying for this? Throttle to the point that you may as well be shadow banned. And my following since then has just, it's just frozen in time. And in fact, specifically on Instagram, because my followings on my other social media are just like, it's a snail's pace. It's painful. Instagram, it is a steady drip down the drain. And I still, for the life of me, can't figure out what it is, because I have asked so many other creators, not just writers, but artists, musicians, performers, just everybody across the board has this problem of, it's like this just slow death of literally every day. You'll have like 1 to 3 followers unfollow you. And it's maddening. You're just like, what is happening? Why? And so you can't grow your following anymore. In fact, you're losing your following, which is, nobody can figure it out, because people are like, oh, well, maybe it's bots. And honey, I can tell you, I block the bots as fast as they pop up. So if anything, it should be that my following is just boop, just flatline, instead of just boo, Titanicing. And then it's, well, maybe people are leaving the platform for threads. And it's like, okay, that might be true, but then why are they unfollowing? Most of the time when people leave a platform, they just don't use it anymore. They don't unfollow every account on their account and then leave. That doesn't make any sense. Who has time for that? So that doesn't make any sense. So again, it begs the question of there's stuff going on behind the scenes of these platforms that are specifically targeting creators. And this is a well-known fact. It's kind of that like we all know but we don't know kind of thing, is that we all know that social media platforms go out of their way to punish creators. Whether you're an author, you're an artist, you're a performer, you're a musician, whatever. If you're a creative person, individual person, or maybe a small group, whatever, trying to get your whatever out there, the algorithm sees that and it will punish you. And we don't really know all the rules around the why and the what and all that. We just know that is a fact. That is what's happening. And the reason why that's happening is because most social media platforms today, all they care about is money, specifically advertising money. So that's why you'll probably notice in a lot of your feeds, all you'll see is advertising for like big companies and for politicians and for just stuff that I guess some Looney Tunes person was willing to throw $500, $1,000 at. That's the stuff that you end up seeing in your feed. And at the end of the day, all of it is because they were willing to pay. And they were willing to pay a lot. Not just $5, $10. Try $500, $1,000, if not more. When they first got started, social media was about being social. It was about building communities. It was about creators. And now it is far, far from that. And it's a thing we all complain about and we're all upset about. But we also have to accept reality where it's at. We have to be able to be like, all right, this is where we're at. And we got to figure out, how do we pivot? Where do we pivot? What do we do? And unfortunately, as of today, as of right now, there is not a good answer in terms of social media for that. People will say Mastodon, Blue Sky, Threads, there's this new thing called Kara. It seems like there's a new social media thing every other month, and none of them are viable. I personally have gone and researched them because, trust me, I am chomping at the bit for a new social media platform. None of them do what creators need them to do. All of them are lovely for what they're intended for, whether it's like Blue Sky, which is invite only, and people only want to see on their feeds the people that they actually interact with. Perfectly reasonable. That's fine. That doesn't help me as a creator. That means that I have to be personally best friend slumber party connection in order to sell all my books. I don't have time for that. I'm sorry, nobody has time for that. Mastodon, unless you want to be a part of a very niche geek forum community, it's useless. As a creator, it's useless. Again, it's these siloed forum style communities. That does nothing for me as a creator. Kara is literally just a portfolio platform. It's basically the DeviantArt answer to the AI problem with artists. That's literally what it is, which is great for artists to have a safe space to be able to share their art. Hooray. Yay for that. But as a creator trying to sell something, that doesn't help me. It doesn't help me reach an audience. It doesn't help me sell things. It's just basically, hooray showcase land of, yay, I did this. Gold star, please. That's what it's for. And that doesn't help me. And that's the thing, is that Twitter, I feel like, is the best example for this. Twitter used to be one of the best options as this type of creator. And it's especially big for the tabletop gaming community as well, because it was a platform where you had wide audience, that you were able to get your stuff in front of the widest audience possible. There was no limitations on the feed, that you could post a thing and it will just bloop live in the feed and anybody can see it. The fact that Twitter would be like, hey, so-and-so that you're following is following this person and that person posted this thing. Look at it. That they would push your stuff into other people's feeds that aren't even following you was absolutely a dream come true for people creating things that they want to sell, like a writer wanting to sell their book. Amazing! I am broadening my audience. Fantastic. To a certain extent, Facebook did that a little bit, Instagram did that a little bit, but Twitter was the one that was the best at that, which is why, myself included, so many people are still on X. Because even though it is a sinking ship that is on fire and it is full of rabid bears with chainsaws for hands, it is a crazy place of horrible, but it's still the best option as a creator in order to reach any sort of audience anymore. And every day, that's just the walls are closing in. And it's basically, we're just on the Titanic until it's completely blah, 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 under the waves is really all it is. We're all clinging to the railing being like, someone please help us. Someone please help us before the ship has completely sunk. Dear God, please help us. But that's the reality we live in, and that's the reality we have to accept is this is where we are right now. And it's not a great place to be. Let's all be honest. It's not a great place to be. Social media is like, if you don't have money, we don't care about you, and we're not going to let anybody see your stuff. And Amazon is doing weird things with all sorts of rules and unspoken rules about what content is allowed, what's not allowed, what they're going to shut down, what they're not going to shut down, people getting their books booted off there, books being banned, all kinds of craziness going on there. I know there's craziness going on with the other options like Ingram and those other things, like just everything with all of their attempts at trying to combat AI stuff, combat the grifter stuff, combat just straight up scams and spam, just all of it is just creating a mess and nobody knows how to deal with it. So we're in the middle of that transition of this mess happening. And then all of the other options are all you have to shell out a lot of money. If you want to run a commercial on TV, that is, oh my God, so much money. You want to run a commercial on radio, that's a lot of money. Doing in-person stuff is great. It costs money. And it's a very limited audience. It's just the audience of the people that showed up and are willing to be in your personal space. The options are so limited for how you can get your work out there. And that's where we're at right now. And I know y'all are like, what about mailing lists? Everybody always talks about the mailing lists. I'm sorry, it's not 1998 anymore. And unless you already built a mailing list is just going to do nothing for you. Because email has become the new, physical letter mailbox, in that everyone's inboxes are so full of crap, just advertisements and spam and scammers and nonsense, that good luck getting anybody to click on your stuff. Good luck your stuff not ending up in a spam folder, just all of that. Even if you do somehow build a mailing list of people who are willing to sign up and be like, yes, I want to know more about your books. Yeah, and that's the other thing. How do I reach these magical people to build this mailing list with? It's just the circular problem here is I want to advertise to more people, build a mailing list. How do I build a mailing list? Advertise to people. Repeat until you are crazy. Okay. This is where we're at. We're all crazy. We're all tired. We're all frustrated, and it sucks. We are on the island of suck. So we're all trying to find ways off the island of suck. Some people find very successful ways to get off the island of suck, and it's not always something that you can necessarily replicate. TikTok being one of those things. So that's one of the things that has kind of crashed and burned, is that TikTok all of a sudden blew up. Specifically, Book Talk all of a sudden blew up. And you had all of these authors suddenly reaching massive audience utilizing Book Talk, but also you have to be good at TikTok in order to be good at Book Talk. And not everybody is good at TikTok. Because again, you need the time and the energy and know how social media works and know how all these trends and stuff work in order to be able to jump on that zeitgeist. And that includes sometimes jumping on those trends that last for only a day or even an hour. And that's definitely not for the weak. Like, I will say, I'm sorry, I will never be on TikTok. Just FYI, I do not have the time. I do not have the energy. I am already doing 8,000 things. I don't need another thing to do. And the amount of effort that TikTok takes in order to make it do literally anything is astronomical, and just no thank you. And then now that bill is going through Congress where they're going to ban TikTok in the United States, means that so many people are losing this massive advertising avenue they had for those books. And they're like, now what am I going to do? They're back to the island of suck. And it sucks that so many of these venues that we had keep getting taken away from us. And that's kind of where we're at, where all these venues are being taken away from us in order to be able to advertise our books. And we're kind of like, now what do I do? That's one of the biggest reasons why making a living as an author is so difficult. Is just reaching your audience in general is harder than it has ever been. Competition, social media plotting against you, pay to play, so much time and energy and money, just all of it makes it so difficult just to put your book in front of your reader and be like, hi, please read me. And then taking that extra hurdle of somehow getting them to click add to cart. It's a big challenge, and some of us are better at it than others, but most of us, no matter how good or how bad we are at it, are struggling. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please be sure to give it a like, and if you're new, subscribe. All right, y'all, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.